So we're starting on the next part of our journey, and that is to, and this is nothing too terribly complicated. I did take out the gear shifter, and I've been trying to clean up all the rust. I've been using that boy, that is a handy little tool. I've been cleaning it all up in there. Of course, the power brush has been doing the lion's share of the work in here. And so I've been cleaning it up and trying to get it down to bare metal. I mean, I have to hit that a lot harder. There is some really thick, I don't know how to describe it. This is it here. It was almost like a thick tar paper that had completely crystallized, and so I tried taking it off with a power brush, and that didn't do any good. So I used a hammer on it, and it just is shattered like glass. So that was good. I'm busy trying to scrape off all that gummy part of the gasket. I don't know what they use in the way of gasket on this, but that's kind of where it is right now. And so I've been ripping and tearing at that. I recognize I didn't get the gasket under there between the heater channel and the pan, but I don't have a gasket, so that's kind of the way it is now. So I've just been hitting it with a power brush here, cleaning up the top of the transmission a bit, just sort of really ADD, just sort of hitting it randomly all over. You'll notice I gotta get those bolts out of there, so I'll be welding a nut on both sides. They broke off. I'll be hitting that with a, I don't know, maybe I'll have a little closer look, but I'll probably be welding a nut to the top of it and trying to turn it out. So that's kind of where we're at now. I do have to, when I try to take the end off the starter, I popped the solenoid, so I don't know if I can get a new solenoid or if I need to buy a whole new starter. The starter's only 100 and some bucks, so it's not like it's hugely expensive. Kind of wish I could have this outside because I'd be sandblasting a lot of this, but seeing as how we're in here, I guess power brushing, I just don't want to sandblast inside here, create such a mess. So that's where we're at. I have this pulled up into the air now. I could have tipped it on the side, but I don't have the wheels on the front, so that would have possibly have damaged that whatever side I tipped it onto the heater channel. So I thought, well, I'll just pick it up. Still resting on the car stands in the back, so it's nice and secure. And I'm going to be spraying the sealer in and through and kind of taking care of that. So that's what I'm in the middle of now, so I thought I'd set you up for the journey. I don't do a lot of product placement, but I kind of like this. Just one of those little Rust-Oleum, and it works on any shaker can. Right about here, the can stopped spraying, and I was just having a real hard time. I think I had something gummy get stuck in there, and yeah, I had it for about 1.5 years, so that was unfortunate. Okay, that's not good. Busy bragging this stuff up and has let me down. Ran a little carb cleaner through the tip. It cleared out real good. You can see how that clears right out. So I'll try it back on the can. It started working really well. I guess it just had a little bit gummed up in there again, like I was saying it had from earlier on. So I was spraying it. It's a rock garden. I showed it to you before, but it comes out fairly thin, but it makes quite a thick coating, which was worked really well to cover up underneath there. And so I just covered that all up. Yeah, I was just making sure it got right up into any of the cracks that would be there. Again, to stop the rust and to make sure it's all sealed really well. So just little short spurts, but it was quite thick in there. And so that worked really, really well. I was pretty happy with the job it did. And I'll keep it going. You can see how I'm spraying it right in. And so it's not really a crack, but so I'm just making sure that it's got deep penetration, so rust is the enemy. And so I'm trying to make sure that I have it sealed and kind of rust-proofed all the way along there. And that's my biggest concern. And so I'm just kind of putting a coat on the rest of the bottom too, that's this additional protection. But that's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is that I have a lot of rust proofing in there. Let's have a look. Just kind of making sure that one seal has got really good coat on it. You can see over there, I just noticed now, got a couple of holes I'm gonna have to weld and redo some of this because I didn't see them before. I was looking from the top. I guess I should have looked from the bottom. But mostly just put a skim coat on the rest of it. But again, just trying to stop the rust. Rust is an issue, so let's address the issues. The other thing is I got to tighten up the rest of these bolts. I'll take care of that, and then we'll be loaded for bear. I had someone message me about the idea of putting the heater channels on in the process of putting. Now, I'm sure this only works if you're replacing both the heater channels and the floor fans. And the reason I did it was really so I could line the bolts up. I had I had this whole schematic drawn. Here's one of them. I had these whole schematic drawn to try to clearly identify exactly where each bolt hole was in the pan in relation to the heater channel. Now I am replacing the heater channel, so I am just really hoping that this doesn't all come back and bite me in the butt. And I'm going to end up having to remodify a bunch of stuff. But I mean, right now it's all bolted together. The floor pans fit the heater channel. The heater channels are hooked into the Napoleon's cap and to the back cross section. It's all connected together. It all seems to work. I've had to do very little modification, and we're going good. So I don't even know how to really address this apart from I think I'm going to be okay. And if I'm not going to be okay, you guys are going to know because I'll have screwed it all up. So anyway, all that to say, this is where we're at in this journey. I've painted everything now. I've ground down. I'm going to have to I am going to have to re-weld some of these holes. Oh yeah, you can see a couple of them there. Okay. I guess I wasn't as good as I thought it was. Anyway. I will re-weld some of that and go from there. But overall, the bigger thing is now I've got a good coat of paint and everything. I won't be welding up now because I don't want to catch fire. So this is what I spent quite a bit of time on today, is trying to clear all the crud off that transmission. And that's been quite a journey. Now, I have to replace those boots, and I'll watch a video before I do that and see what it takes to replace those boots. But I'll keep on trying to clean as much of the crud off of there as I can. And I'll probably give it a coat of paint eventually. But and then the same thing as the top, I'm going to clean off a lot of the crud off of these cross members and stuff. Like I said, I wish it was a little warmer out. I wish I didn't have 5-foot snow drifts outside the door, and then I could be able to push this out and do some sandblasting. I think sandblasting is really, really what should be happening here right away. So, but anyway, that's where we're at. Going to do a little bit more work on here, but it's looking fairly good. Got the seam sealer in, and that's all sealed up. And given some ponderance here as to what I need to do, I need to work on that motor, and I could probably work on it right there, I guess. Start the rebuild process there. And there's some room, and I could jockey a few things around and give myself a significant amount of room right there. But yeah, we'll sort that out. But yeah, that's where we're at now. I still want to clean that up. I'll probably hit it with a smaller power brush and see what I can make that a little cleaner. So yeah, I've got as usual, a dozen things on the go. Always a dozen things on the go. I am starting to work on the motor. That's the direction I'm headed in. I did get the holes welded up and that sanded off. I should have made a video of that, but it was pretty straightforward and just some grinding, so it worked out well. Painted over it. And now I'm starting to work on the motor. I did pull off the thrust plate and inner clutch, and I need to get the flywheel off. And those Beetle people out there know that they're torqued on at about 300 foot-pounds, and so I have to get a big snipe out and get that on so I can get the flywheel off so I can hook it on. And I'm probably going to do a time lapse on pulling the motor apart and just to see what it is. Like I did mention to some of you before, I am heading to BC and probably to Abbotsford area, and they do have California imports here that bring in all these parts. So I will probably come prepared. I'll probably even bring some of the old parts with me and prepared to get all the parts I need, so when I come back I can work on that motor. Sure would be nice to take it cruising this summer. That would be just a real sweet thing. So one step at a time. And then I'll as soon as I get the motor rebuilt, I'll continue on with the body and other things. But yeah, mostly pulling the parts so I can get the parts now. Again, thank you for watching. This is sort of an update one. So again, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell. And we'd love to keep in touch with you. Thank you for all of you who have been writing little comments and stuff like that, and even some private messages. I do appreciate that. And we will connect. And the amazing part is I'm having some of you treat me like an expert. As I said early on in this journey, I'm mechanically inclined, but I've never done any work on Volkswagens before, really. And the other one was my first attempt. So this is my second. So I guess after a couple, maybe I am an expert.
But all that to say is that they're a lot of fun. They're a fun little car. I love the looks you get when you are driving them around, and yeah, that's just a real good time. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day. Be blessed. Bye now.